Welcome to yet another exciting episode on Your Image podcast. Today, we are having a very special guest. His name is Kuda. I'm sure you all know him from the streets of money because that's what he's all about, an entrepreneur, a man who is after the bag. And what is more interesting about him is the fact that he has a heart for people, a heart to make sure that entrepreneurs all over Africa get their hands on the money. Today, we are discussing many things, but most importantly, we are more about making sure that entrepreneurs walk on this journey. And I will let him introduce himself before we go on. So, Mkoma Kuda, welcome to the podcast, and please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Thank you for the amazing introduction. So, like you said, my name is Kuda. I'm into online entrepreneurship and I've been on a journey of sharing what I know with people. And my hope is to share the knowledge that I have with people so that a lot of people can get help, especially in the area of entrepreneurship.
Wow, lovely. And Kuda, maybe if you can also, because I didn't really get into what community you're running, because I know this is going to be the basis of what we're speaking about. You're running a community called Kuriseyi, community, which is a wonderful community. I'm a product of that. I've been through am actually still in the journey of working in that community. And so if you can just introduce us to what Kurisei is about, and we can take it from there.
So, Kuriseyi is a wonderful community which was birthed by my passion.
Yeah,
So, one of the things that happened to me is that my first trip to China to learn about the business landscape in China, I realized that there was a lot of opportunities that were there.
yeah.
And in as much as I had actually traveled to China to do business scouting for myself, I
Mm,
then had a thought of saying that, okay, what if I can get in the shoes of the other people that have never
mm,
stepped foot into China and explain things in a way that they would understand? So that is what birthed the community called Kurisei. And the term
mm,
Kurisei is a Shona term and it means how is it? So this is the term that I was actually asked by a number of people, especially friends and family. We have been
yeah.
asking me, how is China? When I post my photos on social media, they would ask Kurisei. So I then had to call the community Kurisei. That's what it is all about.
Oh wow, wow, phenomenal, phenomenal. Well, when I first joined Kurise, or when I got to find out about you, it was through, I think it was through social media as well. I was at a point where I was looking for suppliers in China. I've been wanting to go to China, and I would obviously looking for information, and I came across a contact when someone said to me, "Oh, there's a guy who's helping people sort out stuff in China and all that." And because I had gone through so many, I wouldn't want to say kissing the frog, but you know how it is when you go through so many people and you're just not getting what you want. And I came across you, and I remember from the very first conversation we had, you were so passionate about what I was saying to you. And as I was speaking and telling you my vision and all that, you listened, and
Mhm.
immediately you had a strategy, and you're like, okay, what I think you need to do. And it took me aback a little bit because I'm like, is this guy really genuine? Why is he so, why is he so caring about it? Because generally, most people just want to get the money out of it. It's the money value. When you ask somebody for information, it's like, okay, what am I getting out of it? But I genuinely feel, or I get the sense and the feeling, and I'm sure a lot of people that are in the community can attest to this, that you're somebody who is in there not only for the money, but also to genuinely help people. And I really would like to comment that, and we will talk more about it as we go in there. But I just want to know, what were your first thoughts when you had a conversation with me regarding, this entire journey? And I told you about my vision for Own Your Image and where I was going and what I wanted to do.
Okay, so when I looked at your vision on
Yeah.
your image, when you send it me to me the things that you wanted to do,
Yeah.
it just gave me a reflection of some of the people that I've actually worked with. So
Yeah.
previous to starting the community Kurisei,
Yeah.
I've worked with a number of different people that specifically were working on podcasts. One of
Mm.
them is a podcast that is called Yokai Business Show. So that
Yeah.
podcast has done over 500 episodes,
Mm.
interviewing a lot of business owners. So I was one of the team members who was behind the project.
Mm.
And when you told me that you wanted to do podcasts, and also I looked at the topic that you wanted to talk about, I then
Yeah.
realized that I could duplicate the skills that I had actually done in the past. So when I looked at your project, I knew what could be done from the very beginning until the end. And
Yeah.
one thing that I love about your podcast topics is
Yeah.
that there is two things really that can people create content on. Number
Yeah.
one, there is what is known as evergreen content, and there's what
Okay.
is known as trending content. So
Yeah.
trending content could be a topic that's trending for today. Let's say there's been an accident in London and a lot of people are talking about it. And next
Yeah.
week there is new news, okay?
Yeah.
But when I looked at your vision where you need to speak to moms, to dads, to families, healing
Yeah.
and all those challenges that people face, a lot
Yeah.
of people are facing that now. And in
Exactly.
future, there's going to be more people facing the same kind of
Yeah.
situation. So what it
Yeah.
means is that your podcast is going to remain relevant for so many
Yeah.
years to come, which is
Yeah.
why I had to blend your podcast with my knowledge of importing goods from China.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very true. And I like the fact that you touched on it. You know, it's something that is very close to my heart with Own Your Image because like I've explained in my, in my podcast and all that, that it's not generally, I know a lot of people when they hear Own Your Image because they can associate it with the t-shirts, which is a good thing. It's lovely. I love my t-shirts and they're out there. But I think for me, the bigger vision is about healing families, making sure we create generational wealth. And wealth, in my perspective, is not only money, it's also in health, it's in assets, it's in a lot of different formats. So when we're able to blend all that together, I really believe that, we can have something beautiful coming out of it. But, just touching on what you mentioned earlier when I told you about on your image and the things that I wanted, because I think initially when I came in contact with you, yes, there was the whole podcast part, but also we were talking about importing stuff from China. And I remember you happened to be in China at that very same time I think you had gone for the Canton Fair. And I remember contacting you in the morning, and I said to him, Komakuda, I've got a supplier that's in Yiwu. Are you able to meet with him? And immediately you're like, send them my details, or you ask them to get my details, and they contact me. You didn't even hesitate. Again, I think it speaks a lot on you as a person and the passion that you have for this. So my question is going to be, in terms of, people, there are some people, maybe they have not joined the community as yet, but there are some people that probably have ongoing contacts or communications with people that are in China. Is it something that you offer in your package, or how does it work? If I'm just somebody who's out there in the community, I've come across you, but I already had maybe set foot in China, in terms of I've made contact with some people. How do you then come in, and how do you incorporate Kurisei community?
So the thing is, like I said earlier on,
Yeah,
everything reflects back to when I traveled to China for the very first time.
yeah,
So the Kurisei community is geared on helping people
mhm,
who were also, or probably who are also in my similar shoes when they wanted to do something from China. So
yeah,
there are three things basically that you get from the community. Number one, you get preparation for
mhm,
what you need to do in China. Okay.
yeah,
So there are resources that you can access there, and there's also places on the website and the mobile app where you can actually
yeah,
ask the questions. You don't only
mhm,
ask me, but you ask the community as a general.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then the second thing that you need help with is if you happen to travel to China, or the sourcing part for looking for suppliers and anything in between, you
Yeah,
need someone to rub shoulders with.
of
So
course.
you can be speaking to me, or you can be speaking to the other amazing community members. And once you
Yeah,
find a supplier, you are
mhm,
going to then need more support after that, because you can do your first import. But at the
Yeah.
same time, once you've done the first import, that's a milestone to celebrate. But again, it's a business that needs to be
Yeah.
pushed. There's need for
Yeah.
marketing strategies to put
Yeah.
structures and anything in between. So to answer your question, how does the community help? It does
Yeah.
help you with three things. Preparation. What is
Yeah.
it that I need to do? How do I need to make money? We help you
Mhm.
with that. Your first import, we help you with that. And then after you've done your first import, what sort of things do you need to put in place so that you can establish a very long-term business?
Ah, perfect, perfect. I'm glad you're able to explain that so well
Yeah.
because again, I will refer to myself because I am living proof of what the community does. I remember when you went to you obviously had a conversation with the manufacturers and I said to you, please check the quality if it's the real thing because it's easy to get people that impersonate and they say they can do this and yet they can't. But when you checked for me and you told me, listen, this is if this is what you want, this is the real deal. This is it. And I got my first samples. I was happy, and I told you the samples have arrived. Now I'm, trusting to get the actual orders to come in. And when the first orders came in, I remember contacting you again, and I said they've arrived, and I was very happy. And I believe, obviously, if we had not had that relationship where you went and had the conversation with them, we would have probably maybe, I mean, who knows, we would have probably had a different turnout. But the fact that you were on the ground and you were able to do that, one, not only at short notice, but also do your thorough diligence to speak to these people, ask the right questions, the relevant questions, I believe it probably built some form of trust and also for the Chinese people to then realize that these people are serious. So again, I think maybe, it's something that you mention as we go on, but I think it's important that the viewers get to know that it's important that you have somebody on the ground that actually gets to do the groundwork. And in your case, because you've been there a couple of times, you've built lots of relationships. Is this something that maybe you can just, I know it's obviously part of the premium package that you open up to, but is it maybe just give the viewers a sneak peek so that they know what exactly some of the benefits that they're getting from joining this community?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do within our community is to do group trips to China,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
most important part of our community. So we organize group trips and
Yeah.
we travel to China as a group.
Yeah.
Now, when you travel to China as a group, when we travel to China as a group, or rather, if you travel to China
Yeah.
on a personal basis, you are going
Mhm.
to build relationships that you
Yep.
cannot build online. So trust me, if you're going to be searching for information online, yes, you can get what you want. But again, think about the conversation that you have. You send a message today, you wait 8 hours for someone to
Yeah.
respond. You send a message today, some of the words are lost in translation.
Yeah.
But when going to meet the suppliers in person, you get to build, number one, a very good, strong relationship, and you
Yeah.
also build a situation where you can actually get very good prices for your items.
Yes. Yeah.
And the most amazing part is how the manufacturers are so much welcoming, especially when you step foot into
Mhm.
their into their factory. At the same
Pictures. Yeah.
time, they get to listen to what your story is. And I
Mhm.
remember going to my factory visits for the very first time. I
Yeah.
wouldn't sugarcoat things. I wouldn't sugarcoat how much I had. I wouldn't sugarcoat the stage that I
Yeah.
was in business. I would just
Yeah.
simply tell them I'm just getting started and
Yeah.
I need to establish something. And when I speak like that, they would also speak in language of someone who is also getting started. So
Yeah.
when I went to your factory visit, they welcomed me. They were actually at the gate and
Mhm.
they walked me through their factory. I had to
Yeah.
see a number of showrooms and some of the products that they produce. They
Yeah.
had different quality that I touched, and I remember calling you over the phone saying, "This is
Yes.
what you need. This is what you need."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so my validation when I went there was the fact that the factory was ready to work with you. So what it simply means, that's the most important thing. They were ready to listen to what you have to say. And that's what they did. And they produced exactly what you want. And that's what's the
Mhm.
most important thing. Yes.
Yeah, that is so true. Absolutely. And Kuda, what would you say are some of the so two-part questions, yeah?
Yeah.
Firstly, what are some of the misconceptions that a lot of entrepreneurs or people that are starting up have about the Chinese market?
So, times change.
Hmm.
Times change really. So
Yeah.
there has been the import and export business has been running for a number of years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to look at how the world operates nowadays, there's technology, there's access to
Hmm.
information and anything in between. So
Hmm.
there are belief systems that we are made to believe based on what people say or what people do and anything in between or some of the experiences that we get.
Yeah.
So some of the things in terms of misconceptions about China is that everything that comes from China is fake.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't want even to look into China. But in almost everything that they do in their lives, they are
Hmm.
engaging products that are made from China. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can ask them right now to say, can you point me five things that are in your house right now? You are
Hmm.
going to find probably more than 10 items that are made from China. So that is proof
Exactly.
that there
Yeah.
is really something going on in China. And then the other misconception is that do I need money to start a business in China, which is not true. So once you
Yeah.
step your foot into China and do it properly, you are then
Yeah.
going to realize that you're then going to realize that there is a lot of opportunities does not even need money at all. All you need
Yeah.
to do is to get what I call exposure. Exposure is the most thing that is really lacking on people.
Yeah, well, that is very true. I think those quite just to mention a few, some of the misconceptions that a lot of us have in the background when we think about China. And I'm glad you're able to explain it that way. And what would you say maybe are some of your lessons that you've learned on this journey, just being in China and doing business with the Chinese people?
So I do take the approach of learning every single day. So, one of the amazing things that happened when I started the coaching program was the striking moment when I was reading this book by the lady. Her name is Salome. She wrote a book called Money Wellbeing. So, this book speaks about some people who have just lived in UK or arrived in UK, how
Yeah.
they don't save up money properly. They lack financial management and end
Yeah.
up spending money, borrowing money, and things like that. So in her book,
Mhm.
she indicated that in as much as I'm in the accounting field, I'm not writing a
Yeah.
book to tell you that I'm perfect with my finances. I do struggle
Yeah.
with my finances sometimes, but I'm just writing a book because I'm two steps ahead of others, and the information that I have, I can share it with people. So that really struck me, and that actually
Mhm.
inspired me to start the community. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, knowing that okay, I'm sharing something, yet I'm not yet there. I'm still learning. So I had to create an attitude of learning. So my
Yeah.
learning happens from speaking to the Chinese, the travel themselves, and then also
Mm.
within the amazing community that of the members that we have. I mean, there is quite a lot of people that are even more intelligent than me, that are well educated than me, that are performing even much,
Yeah.
much better than me. And
Yeah.
our discussions every single day, they do teach me something. But
Of course.
looking mostly in terms of the Chinese manufacturers, speaking to them in
Hmm.
person, one thing that I would tell you is that they are dying to expand and partner with anyone who shows business interest. So
Yeah.
if you are someone who is ready to work your way out in terms of establishing a business, then they may be the best place to or the best people to speak to so that they can help you achieve your business goals.
Okay. And is this something that obviously comes as part of the package when if you are part of the community, the Kurisei community?
Yes, so Kuriseyi community is structured like this. We
Hmm.
have what I call three packages. So the first
Yeah.
package is for people who wants to see if they can do it or not. So ideally, we do have what we call a basic package. Anyone can just
Hmm.
sign up and it has got some basic information that you need to be able to make a decision to move forward or to say, no, this is not what I was looking for. And then we do have what we
Yeah.
call a premium package. So the premium package
Yeah.
is a package whereby you get one-on-one sessions with me, Zoom calls, the help that you need,
Yeah.
and the help within the community. At the same time, that premium package is for people that are not yet
Hmm.
ready to travel to China, but these are people that say, you know what, I need to establish myself before I even travel to China, or I don't have plans to
Yeah.
travel. And then we do have the third package. The third package now is for people who wants to travel to China. This is where we get into, yes, the community is there for learning aspect. Anyone
Yeah.
can access the community. There are
Yeah.
blogs, there are articles, there are
Hmm.
videos,
Yeah.
you name it. And then we get to travel to China as a group and then bounce
Yeah.
off ideas.
Ah, perfect, perfect. So I'm hoping the viewers are getting a clear picture of what this community is about, and I believe it's very important that we have this discussion because information is out there. Like you said, you can get information from anywhere, but when you get the support of other people that are like-minded, it's
Mm.
a whole different ball game. Because I see the conversations that go on that group. I see the language that is used in there. You definitely can see that these are people that are like-minded. Number one, these are people that are ready to go grow. These are people that are intentional about what they want to build and where they want to go with their future. So if you're somebody who thinks like that, who wants to be in that kind of setup, this group is definitely for you. And Komakuda, if I may
Mm.
ask, what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes we as entrepreneurs make, especially when it comes to, maybe sourcing from China? And I'm pretty sure maybe there would be other maybe nations where people can then, do dealings and all that. But right now we're focusing on China because that's what we are talking about. What mistakes have you seen entrepreneurs make on this journey? Because I know you've mentored a lot of people and you still
Yeah.
continue to make mentor a lot of people. What mistakes are people making out there?
So the first one is the first mistake, number one, is not going to China. That's a very,
Okay.
in as much as there's so many things happening in your life and things like that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mistake of not going to China is not going to give you the whole picture of what's possible.
Ah.
So unless if there is some underlying challenges, maybe that has to
Yeah.
do with your health and your document that does not allow you to travel, yes. But if you have the chance to travel, that's number
Yeah.
one mistake. And then number two mistake is not allowing your business to grow gradually or naturally. So a lot of people that have actually
Yeah.
that have actually consulted me, you can tell from the
Yeah.
tone of their voice that they need an exit plan. They don't like their jobs, they don't like their income. And what they need is something that they do
So,
today and then tomorrow they're actually making
yeah.
the money. They're not allowing their business to grow. So my
Hmm.
approach when I'm working with people, I always want them to look at the longer term because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, this is business, this is our human mind, and anything that you do in terms of business, you're just going to start small. In as much
Yeah.
as there is so many opportunities, but your subconscious is going to tell you that, okay, let me just put this amount of money first and see how it goes. But
Hmm.
so that's the mistake number two of people not allowing for their business to grow. And the mistake number
Yeah.
three is not becoming coachable. Okay.
Okay.
So there's quite a
All
lot
right.
of people who really, there's a statement that I live by, which goes to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. So what
Oh.
it simply means is that sometimes in life,
Hmm.
the things that you're looking for, you don't
Yeah.
really have to continue searching. Just find someone who has done it, someone
Yes.
someone who has moved the path.
Yeah.
They know where to step, they know when not to step. And if you
Exactly.
spend a lot of time with those people, these people, they'll end up saying things that they didn't mean to say, but those things that they'll continue saying, they'll actually help you. So sometimes it's not about anything that you want in life. And I'm not saying that we are not only the only community that can
Yeah,
help you
of course.
understand China, but find
Yeah,
someone who has been there. I mean,
yeah,
I cannot claim that I'm the only one who have been to China, but there's quite a
yeah,
lot of people who have been there. Listen to what they have to say and try and
yeah.
get advice from them. So those are the three mistakes that I would say.
Yeah, wow. I like the fact that you mentioned a lot of very profound statements in your response.
Yeah,
And one of the things that you've just mentioned there is, just learn from those that have gone before you. It makes it so much easier. And I speak from my own, perspective because there's many things that I can do. I'm very blessed in that sense that, but there's certain things that I know. And I keep saying to you every time I come to you, especially when it comes to technology and certain things, I'm like, oh, Mkomakuda, I can't do this. This is not my portfolio. This is not things that I do. But it saves me time, it saves me money when I just hand certain things to you because that's your forte, that's what you know. So in saying this, I'm saying there's a lot of other things that you can get off other people. Hence, for me, in my thinking, this is somebody who's part of the group, yeah, part of the community. I've seen people share ideas. I've seen people share, someone will just ask a question. I'm looking for this. How do I do it? Or what is the, tax rate or what's going on and all that. And there will always be somebody who knows the information. It doesn't necessarily have to be Kuda himself. There's always somebody who knows, and there will always be people that will assist you. So instead of wasting, for me, time is money. So instead of me wasting 3, 4 hours going on Google trying to research this and that, if there's somebody who knows it and they can give it to me better, I mean, why not? All the better, isn't it? So I really like the
yeah,
fact that you mentioned that part because I think that's one of the mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs wanting to do DIYs. Well, I understand the concept and I understand where it comes from. Sometimes maybe it's the finances that are holding you back. But like we're saying, if you're on the community, necessarily, it's not necessarily, going to be something, everything that you're paying off because there is help that is coming within the community. Yeah.
yeah.
And just going back, to the whole China concept and all that, we've spoken about, people getting their products from China, people buying whatever they need to sell, or whether they want to start their companies and stuff. What then would you say? I'm trying to structure this question properly. Um, is there a set amount that you'd say, oh, maybe if you only have this amount, that's the only way you can start a business through China? Or what's your notion around that? How does one navigate that financial part?
So one thing that I would tell you is that if you look at the people that have done well in business, uh,
Yeah,
just think of anyone who has done well in the business and look at their background. Well,
yeah,
with everyone, some people started off on a very good plate where they had a lot of money, but the majority of them they started off with nothing,
exactly.
and all they had was an idea. So one
Yeah,
thing that you need to understand is that there are some small ideas that will take you to the big ideas. Like I always say, you want to eat an elephant, you're going to eat an elephant one bite at a time. So
yeah.
there's one thing that I can tell is that there is always a starting point. So
Mm-hmm.
to answer that briefly, I'm just gonna give you just three business models that can work
Yes.
in China. So the first one is buy and sell. You go to China, you find something to buy, you export it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you sell it. And then the
Sell it,
other
yeah.
one is becoming an agent. You go to
Mm-hmm.
China, you find the Chinese manufacturers that you need to work with, and then you go
Yeah,
back to your country or wherever. You then advertise their products, and then
yeah.
once you make a sell, you make a commission. That means you don't buy
Mhm.
anything in advance. All you have to do is to talk about their business. And then the third model is becoming a
Yeah,
sourcing agent. So when I
yeah.
talk about a sourcing agent, You are
Yeah.
on your computer, you're just looking for different products on behalf of people, and then these people will be paying you money. So these are the
Exactly.
three, some of the business models, and the rest of them, we have covered them through the membership. If you go to our membership, you'll be able to access
Yes.
quite a number of models. They can get up to maybe 20 different ways you can
Yeah.
start with China. So yes.
Oh, wow. Lovely, lovely. Well, viewers, I hope you are taking notes. And if anything, I know Kuda did mention earlier on the number of the types of subscriptions that you can get onto so that you know you can be part of the community. And we will be putting the link in, in the description. So if you go into the description, you will get the link that will lead you onto, the community itself. And then you can see the different packages that you can get. But I can guarantee you, being part of the community is worth your while. In fact, it's a bargain because, in my opinion, you get more than you are actually paying for. Because again, like he said, it's not just about the community itself. It's also about what you gain from it. It's more of the experience. It's more of the assistance you're getting from everybody else and maneuvering. The trading part, maneuvering every other aspect of business with like-minded people. Mkoma Kuda, before you go, I want you to just tell me. I know I sent you, some little something there
Oh
from
yeah,
on
yeah.
your
It's
image.
it's actually this t-shirt that I'm actually wearing. I love it
Yeah.
actually.
So I just want you to tell the viewers what it's
Yeah, yeah.
like, the quality. I know you're still gonna, talk about it and all that, but what's your thought when you got when you received your package? What did you think?
So the thing is, I actually when I received the t-shirt from you, I
Yeah.
celebrated that moment
Yeah.
because yeah, I honestly celebrated because that's one of the moments that I celebrate for the people that I'm actually working with.
Yeah.
So what I'm celebrating is not the t-shirt that I
Yeah.
bought, okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm celebrating is the journey of possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm
Yeah.
talking about the journey of possibilities is a situation where I think through from when you started, when it was just an idea, when you started speaking to suppliers. Those are the moments that I'll be thinking
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'll tell you for sure, you could have actually come across these situations. You're trying to speak to your friends about your ideas, and they don't seem to understand you. You're trying to go to bed to sleep. You
Yeah.
just cannot sleep. I mean, you've ordered your first shipment. You cannot wait for it to arrive,
Yeah.
those things. So when I then look at the product itself, I then think of
Yeah.
the struggles that have been overcome and saying that
Exactly.
okay, the same model that has been used to bring this t-shirt to me is the same model that can be used to do even better things
Yeah.
or better things. I love the t-shirt. I'm going to be wearing it a lot. I really do love it. And then in terms of the quality, yes,
Yeah.
definitely it is very good quality, and I can't wait to see what your website and your journey,
Yes.
gets us. And definitely, I'll continue speaking about it because it's one of the early success stories that I can,
Yeah.
talk about a lot. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you so, so much, Mkoda Kuda, for that review. Well,
Yeah.
viewers, there you have it. There's an
Yeah.
open and honest view from somebody who's had the t-shirt himself. I mean, Kuda, it's been such an honor to have these conversations with you. And I can only hope that, as time goes by, we can have more podcasts where we can actually help the viewers out there. I know we've got our portal, the Kuriseyi community. You've got the website. Like I said, we are going to be putting it in the description. So if you can click in the links in the bio, they will lead you straight to the communities, and then you can see how you can be part of this marvelous group and change your life, change your generations to come, and build generational wealth. Because like I always say, it's not about just us being holistic and having enough money to just get by. It's about creating that generational wealth. And that generational wealth does not come with you just sitting and waiting on the sidelines. Sometimes you just need to dive in there and get on with it. And that's, these are the kind of conversations we're going to be having even in the times to come. But Nkoma Kuda, thank you so much for such an insightful chat. And I can only hope that the people that will listen to this, the people that will hear this, will take action and do something to change their narrative, to change their future, and to change the generations to come. So thank you for being part of this program, and you have yourself a lovely day.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate. Bye bye.
There you have it, viewers. That was such a beautiful experience. I mean, as you heard it yourself, he is a dedicated man, somebody who loves to see other people flourish. He loves to see other people grow. And that's what's special about the Kurisei community. So, like I said, it's all in our links in the bio. Get in there, click the click the links, and it will lead you straight to where you need to go and be part of this wonderful journey. So, until next time, you click, like, subscribe, and share it with as many people that you know need to change their generations, need to change their financial statuses. Click and share with these as many people as you can. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.